Wow, are you vegetarian now? How? Is it actually good for your health to only eat vegetables? Must be boring though. These are some reactions when I told people about the change of my diet. Although there are a small number of people comparing to encouraging ones, they were retrospective of how I used to assume what eating plant-based diet is. Why do I have to quit yummy dishes which reminiscence of home? So much I will miss from cuisines around the world. Will I be able to cope with it? It's such a debate that I don't think there is a real winner. Dietary preference is, at the end of the day, your choice. I decided to become a vegetarian starting this year, and I'd like to share with you my experiences, thoughts, and struggles. Give me a shout out in the comments if any of my experiences happened the same to you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to support a small creator like me, and if you stick around until the end, I'll show you my high protein vegetarian dishes that I loved recently. Alright besties, get cozy up, make yourself a cup of tea, and let's get right into today's video. Hey everyone, it's been a while since we last had like a sit down chat. One of the major changes this year is that I stopped eating meat completely since I came back from Thailand. Up until this point, when I'm filming this video, is sort of already like approaching mid-March. So it's been over 60 days. But just to give you a little bit of the context, from last year that I went through like body transformation, I improved my diet, I already like reduced my meat consumption. Last year, like I still ate meat like sparingly, but I have reduced the amount of it quite a lot gradually throughout the year, and it became less and less in my diet. Most of it is just due to my living situation. It might sound very funny for you, but for me to have like a half-size fridge without like a proper freezer, for two person to survive, you can't really buy a lot and you can't stock that up quite a lot in your fridge. And to me, I don't want to eat meat every day because sometimes it's quite heavy anyway. I want to have like varied meals or varied diet. The fact that my partner is he's pretty much like pescatarian. I don't want to just have meat every day because it's excluded him from the meal that we share. Because of that, then I already gradually reduced the amount of meat that I consume over the past year, and here we are. Why I decided to be 100% vegetarian. The first one obviously is for the environmental reasons. I'm still educating myself every day. I think it is important for us to understand and to know behavior that contributes to global environmental impact, because in a way that will in return affect our well-being. The bottom line is that I want to reduce or to eat zero meat as much as I can. Another main reason for me is to improve my health. These days, the discourse of improving your gut health, having like 30 plants or over 30 plants in your meal weekly is a big thing. You can listen or read from credible people such as Dr. Tim Spector if you're in the UK, and also the podcast that I really recommend and I really enjoy listening to is the podcast Feel Better, Live Well of Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. You learn so much from listening to them. Improving your health and well-being and diet is a big part of the podcast really. So I would really recommend you listening. Last year that I have improved my diet to lose weight. I have incorporated more plants and more vegetables and fruits, legumes, nuts and seeds in my diet, and I've seen and I've experienced myself how important it is to have to eat more plants, how amazing my health result is. That encourages me to keep going and completely become a vegetarian. And the last reason, I'm not gonna lie, that the cost of living was and still is one of my major reasons why I actually reduced eating meat to begin with. I couldn't really afford or buying a lot of meat monthly. It was expensive for me and I couldn't justify myself buying a pack of chicken and then I would finish that in a few days if I eat chicken in most meals of my day. The quality of meat, chicken, beef, is very poor, the meat that you get from supermarket. The fish is frozen and shipped from other countries. There was one time that I bought a pack of salmon fillets from a supermarket As we know that salmon that we eat from supermarket are farm salmon with the whole height of fatty salmon. They injected something to salmon for them to produce more fat, for people to feel like it's really creamy and yummy and melts in your mouth. That one time that I bought a pack of salmon that costed me over £4, and the fish was horrible. All I could taste was just fat, and that is not like a good fat that you would normally expect from any meat or any fish product. It's not like the fatty chunk of fish. It's just salmon that is just like full of fat. It doesn't taste like fish anymore. And I think that was my last straw, really. I could choose to get organic meat or get fish from fishmonger, but even with that, I'm not sure if I could afford to buy fish from fishmonger every time. So all in all, combining with the cost of living and the quality of meat, I decided I just gonna stop. And here we are. The first thing that I found once turning completely vegetarian is kind of more like affirmation that cooking vegetables and plant-based meal is really fun and creative. Can you believe that? I feel like this might actually surprise people. When I told people I'm now vegetarian, people would think that all I eat is vegetable. Well, it's not untrue though, because that's the whole point of being vegetarian. You eat plants. You have to admit that not all vegetables have that kind of main character energy. You need to know how to cook them, what approaches you're gonna do with these vegetables. There's some element of like putting a little bit more effort into cooking. But to me, it is so fascinating, like how many flavors and texture that you could bring out from these normal vegetables that you wouldn't imagine otherwise if you were, still eating meat. Because when you eat meat, vegetables most of the time are just like supporting actors and actresses. I think humans just slept on vegetables for so long. We just thought that, the only way to eat vegetables is to boil them, but that is not true. If you can perfect cooking them, they can actually be an award-winning ingredients on your dish. And I'm not joking. My next point is based off my belief that it is important to have at least 30 plants in your diet each week as a part of your healthy and varied diet. I noticed that my gut health is really at the top of the game. Like, seriously. I'm saying that as a person who used to suffer a lot from constipation. I usually alternate my ingredients so then I don't eat the same vegetable days after days in a week. Obviously there are staple ones such as like oats, bananas, chia seeds, legume, yogurt or miso, kind of fermented ingredients. In my childhood I always thought vegetables is not for me because every time I ate vegetables I seemed to be more constipated. I think that is the part where I didn't drink enough water. I noticed that having more variety of fruits and vegetables in my diet, not only to keep me full longer, but they also provide me healthy natural sources of vitamins and sugar that would just like keep me going and energized and not having sugar rush and everything. I feel lighter overall, and on top of that, I don't seem to suffer from constipation anymore. And that is brilliant because constipation is always my biggest enemy. Let me tell you now, I just feel like I'm another whole new person. I don't suffer from major breakouts anymore. My skin is very good, it's very clear. You just have that sort of like vibrant, that glow. Adding more fruit and vegetables into your diet to improve your skins and your hormones before paying yourself like thousands of pounds on supplements. I would encourage you to start adding more plants and fruits into your diet first. The next point is a bit more of a challenge because I noticed that I struggle a bit to maintain calories, especially like trying to grow muscles as I'm doing it currently. When you eat lots of vegetables, you tend to have that volume, and then you realize that you're full because of those fibers that fill in your stomach. What I did not realize is that I didn't eat enough. What I try to do is to change my cooking approaches and to sort of like bulk the meal up by making more calories dense meals rather than just having like a full-on chewy stuff. I would just say turn the beans into different forms rather than just eating beans as they are. I would just puree them, make like a dip or like a hummus. Tofu, for example, I could just blend it and incorporating that into my salad dressing. I think this is a process of learning how to adapt and how to make my meal a bit more complete and substantial. I find myself just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Sometimes it can be boring. Beans again, lentils again, tofu again. I believe that my body composition now is more than 50% beans and legume, and the rest is like tofu. I still don't find the best solution to be able to hit my protein intake without having to rely so much on protein powder. If I were to eat meat, I could just hit my protein target quite easily. But these days I'll have to rely on protein powder, having up to a scoop, and some days more than a scoop. On that note, in the bracket, I don't really count calories. I could have more eggs, but eggs aren't cheap either. I don't think I can afford to have 5 egg whites in a meal just to hit my protein target. That is too much to me. Battery's dead, and for some reason I brought the charger. Are we going to crack on? The last thing that I found on being a vegetarian diet is that I got really frustrated when I eat out. Little did I realize that how limited the options are for the vegetarian and vegan people in restaurant. I have to choose from maybe like 2 options out of the whole menu, and that's really frustrating to me. Sometimes I feel like vegetarian option that they have is not even worth paying. But after a while, on my 2nd month, I just shifted my mindset a bit. I would hope that vegetarian people would have better variety and better selection to choose from when eating out. But then I would take this as, well, it's easier for me to choose. Rather than having to choose from 10 dishes, my eyes would just go to the vegetarian option. I have 2 and I just choose from 2 and not have to spend ages to choose, because that was always my problem. I also treat this as an opportunity to try new dishes, new vegetables that I wouldn't normally choose at a restaurant, and I think that is the great way to frame it. I consider myself being a very adventurous eater, but being vegetarian has even elevated that experience to another level, because I get to eat more new vegetables. I would encourage myself to try cooking new vegetables, and in the process I learn new ways of cooking. That sends ripple effects for me to really imagine new ways of cooking, new ways of living, and just a different alternative way of eating well and happy. And this is the whole part of this journey, why I want to share this journey with you guys, because I feel like for you to be able to make change, whatever it is in your life, you just need to inherit the ability to be able to reimagine different ways of doing things and different ways of living your life. I realize that this is such a key component living your life in this present time. We need to hold on to our ability to be creative, resilient, and be able to reimagine how we're gonna go on about our lives differently than just being bogged down by all of the things that's happening around us. Before we go to check out my high protein, easy, delicious vegetarian meals that I'm gonna share with you at the end of this video, I just want to say that I forgot what I want to say. One thing that I want to say is that I'm not sure that I'm gonna be vegetarian the whole time, depending on the situation and where I go. For example, if I go back to Thailand or if I go traveling somewhere else, it might be difficult for me to maintain that diet. And to be honest, I really love Thai seafood. I still think that is important as well, to be flexible depending on the situation. That would just make my life even easier, rather than just feeling like I'm restricted myself. At the end of the day, it's about having a balance. I would say 99% vegetarian, 1% is for whatever comes up. But so far so good. It's been great. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm really grateful that you're here, and I love you very much. Now let's just go check out my yummy, delicious vegetarian high protein, delicious vegetarian meals. It's my first vegetarian recipe that is high in protein that I've been loving recently. This one, I can't stress enough how much I'm obsessed with tuna and pea sandwich. It is quite funny because that's how I would say tuna, like Tuna, in British accent. But instead, this one is Chuna because it's made from chickpeas. When I first tried this recipe, it blew my mind because it's slightly different than having hummus on toast, and it's easy to make, full of flavors and full of texture, and you can add any seasoning and vegetables and herbs that you have on hand. I added frozen peas for extra protein, but I thought that is such a great combo to go with this one because frozen peas has some sweetness. But if you don't like peas, you don't have to add peas in it. I cooked chickpeas and peas all together just to make sure that they're nice and soft and ready to be mashed. But obviously I think I didn't cook them long enough because I struggled quite a bit to mash them, but I'm gonna move on. Then I'm adding in some onions, some chopped tomatoes, a good squeeze of lemon juice, a good big teaspoon of tahini for extra creaminess. But if you have or if you prefer vegan mayonnaise, you can add that as well. Some salt and pepper, maybe extra spices like paprika or cumin, absolutely fine. I'm adding some fresh basil here. I think this is such a perfect recipe to meal prep because you can make like in a big batch and keep it in the fridge, and you have that ready when you want to have something quick and nutritious for your lunch. Today I have it on toast. I spread some of the red pesto on toast for extra flavor and pile up with those delicious chickpeas and peas mashed, top up with some fried egg for even extra punch of protein and flavor. And there you have it. This recipe is definitely one of my go-to, and my partner also likes it. Did you see the joy in my eyes? That's love. And moving on to our second recipe, this one is my attempt on tahini and cauliflower wrap that I saw at a restaurant, but I didn't get a chance to have it. The lady at the restaurant swapped my wrap with another guy. But anyway, this one is going to be another great lunch and dinner menu that you can do meal prep, and you can make different varieties of this one. I started simply just roasted the cauliflower with salt and pepper. You can add paprika or cumin if you like. I also put chickpea in the oven, but I think that was wrong because my chickpea just ended up being so dry. To make good and satisfying wrap, you need different components. You need a little bit of texture, you need a little bit of crunch, and you need a little bit of tang. So here I made a quick pickle beetroot and carrots. I grated the carrots and slice up some beetroot, add some lime juice because that's what I have, but I would really recommend using lemon juice, adding some salt. And you need a little bit of sauce. You can't miss the sauce in the wrap. We are making tahini and yogurt whipped. I just add a good teaspoon of tahini, mix it with yogurt, some salt and pepper, a little bit of harissa or red pesto in my case. Mix that up, adding a little bit of water to loosen up the sauce until you reach the preferred consistency. Once the cauliflower and everything else is done, now we just assemble that. Because you made your own wrap, you can just load them up as much as you can. Spread out the sauce very nicely on the wrap. Load everything up with the pickles, the cauliflower, the chickpeas. On hindsight, I felt like I didn't load it as much as I should. I couldn't wrap it up very tightly because the cauliflower is a little bit big. But hey, it's fun and I think it is absolutely delicious. And actually, for that day's dinner, I also made the same thing, but not with wrap. I made roasted cauliflower serving on a bed of tahini and yogurt sauce and just make it very substantial, delicious, satiating dinner from the very same ingredients here. We all think that cauliflower isn't like the star of the dish, but I think this dish will prove you wrong. My last high-protein vegetarian recipe is now breakfast. As you know, I'm a big breakfast girly and I absolutely love oatmeal and porridge for breakfast. And this recipe, this combination is such a bomb. When I made it the first time, I just felt like, where have this been all my life? Tahini and banana is such a great combo. I love that on toast, I love that on everything. Today we're making in a porridge version. Starting off by cooking our porridge oats, I usually cook my oats with water until it reaches the nice consistency. Then I added milk towards the end to make sure that I don't use too much milk because the oats tend to absorb lots of water. Once that's done, I'm adding some chia seeds on. Adding chia seed at the end and not in the pan will make oats really creamy and not like jelly. I made lots of mistakes myself with that, and I found that adding chia seeds at the end makes a perfect texture for it. Then you stir in like a good teaspoon of tahini, top that up with sliced banana. You can also choose to mash banana up if you like, but today I prefer my banana to be sliced. Then top with other toppings that you want. Don't forget to add a good squeeze of honey because tahini isn't providing any sweetness. Definitely need honey for this recipe. And oh my god, let me tell you, this porridge always come back on my breakfast menu. There you have it. These are my 3 recipes that I love recently. High in protein, very nutrient packed, easy to make. I hope you give it a try, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.